One thing I know for sure, you can get a distorted view sitting in the halls of government. Things start to look different. The lobbyists begin to look larger, and the people begin to look smaller. Reality becomes distorted. I've seen it in Congress as well. I'm not going to let that happen to me. I'm not going to be taken captive by the government crowd in Baton Rouge.
We're back today for another edition of Drive-By Politics. Today we have Moon Griffon, a radio talk show host, statewide following. Today he's in a wire story talking about Governor Bobby Jindal and how he is one thing, says one thing and does another. You want to tell us about it, Moon?
Well, I mean, AP called and they claim I've been critical, Governor Jindal, but you got to go back a little bit, Pat. You know, he'd come on my program for about 2 years. I don't know exactly how many times he came on, 38 to 45 times in that range. Spent a lot of time, and he talked about being a conservative, said we had spending problems. We needed to cut government, cut it down to size. He gets in office, first thing we do is pass an ethics reform that still today nobody knows if it's going to work. Second thing they do is, which was unbelievable, Pat, they up the spending cap. And the only reason you up the spending cap is to spend more money. So we spent a lot more money, $1 billion more than Governor Blanco did. But he said spending was the problem. And we found out later that the governor had a hiring freeze. The hiring freeze was supposed to stop hiring of state employees to save money. And within the first year, Governor Jindal hires 4,200 new state employees. That is not a conservative principle. And so my challenge in a Governor Jindal is not personal. I think he's a nice guy. He's a very smart guy, as you know. My challenge in a Governor Jindal is rhetoric versus being a real conservative. So everything he's done has been a little different than the guy that campaigned. And so what I did was I started seeing this as being a kind of hypocritical. And so on my program, I started challenging the governor. I'm challenging him today. He's still welcome to come on the program, but he won't come on the program. But he came on the program and used me for 2 years to get to where he's at least part of it. And now all of a sudden I'm a bad guy. As to him commenting and speaking after President Obama, usually the person that does that you forget about. In this case, since the Republicans are touting Governor Jindal as one of the possible candidates against President Obama in 4 years, they might take this story and run with it and challenge some of the stuff that he says versus the rhetoric that we've heard. I don't know yet. I know he's got to say some things that'll be a little different. He's taking the stimulus money, yet he can't criticize it too hard because he's going to take it. The whole state's going to take the money. So I don't know where he's going to go with this. I'm like you. I think it's going to be interesting to see what angle he takes with this. Once again, he can't come across as a hypocrite. He's got to come across as somebody that's ready for the mantle in 4 years.
This is rhetoric versus reality, right?
Rhetoric versus reality. When you say you cut 1,000 jobs and you save the state money, you ought to be able to show that on paper, but you can't show that because we didn't cut 1,000 jobs. We added 4,200 jobs. Times Picayune says 3,200. My good friend Stevie Vergaston says 4,200 jobs. And I think what happens is you can't say you cut state spending and jobs and save this money when you didn't. You actually added about $300 or $400 million to the payroll. That is rhetoric. The Bobby Jindal that came in was the guy that said we got a spending problem. We're spending way too much money.
Well, thanks for being with us today, Moon. We really appreciate it.
All right, Pat, send me a copy.
You and the 28,000 other people will get one.
Put me on the list, brother.
Bye.